Hey team, Jen here. I am coming to you at the top of week 2, and I wanted to first and foremost thank you for still being here. I know that the first week of a course can be overwhelming sometimes, especially literature courses where there's a lot of reading to do and a lot of engagement in writing. So the fact that you're here with us in week 2 speaks a lot to your motivations for being here. Here in this announcement, I'd like to take some time to reflect on week 1 and offer you some tips to perform even better in week 2 in the forums. And then I'd like to hone in a little bit on the readings for this week in modernism and offer you some suggestions for how you can approach the forum deliverable and the first essay, which is such a daunting assignment, I think, especially in an English class. That first essay can come with a lot of anxiety. So firstly, reflecting back on week 1, it was such a pleasure to meet you guys. This class looks like it's going to be a great class. A lot of students are coming with their passion for literature, their interest in exploring new themes and new ideas. So that's always a great thing to see at the beginning. I like the way that you guys are interacting with each other in the forums here in week 1. Some suggestions that I could make though is I really like to see students going above and beyond. And while going above and beyond won't necessarily get you a higher grade, right? Because your grade is always dependent upon your performance according to the rubric. It does show that you have a sincere investment in building a community in this classroom and really unpacking the complexities of the text and the context through discussion. If you can respond to more than one student, I'm sorry, if you can respond to more than 2 students, which is the requirement, right? Um, every week in the forum, and just find ways to really propel the discussion and keep it going. And especially if you can respond to me, if you can respond in your own thread to students who have taken the time to respond to your post. I think that will really get the ball rolling even more. So even in week 1, going back to your introduction, for example, and saying hello to the peers that took time to greet you and having a conversation. I think that's a great way to handle yourself in an online course where it can be very hard to find that connection and it can be hard to get discussions off the ground, and it's such an integral part of an English class. So that's my main tip for you as you go forward into week 2 is to um, give yourself maybe 20 minutes extra time every week just to go back and respond to those that have responded to your post, and also to make a couple more additional posts adding on to the 2 mandatory responses to just show your engagement and your commitment to the process. You don't have to do that, it's not part of the rubric, but I think it is something that is essential to really having the kind of experience that you want to have in a class like this. Coming up in week 2, we leave behind the Enlightenment period. And the Enlightenment period was an interesting marrying together of texts, right? We looked at Jonathan Swift's A Modest Proposal, and we paired that with a selection from the Declaration of Independence. And at first blush, a pairing like that seems really uh, strange, right? It seems to be an unlikely pairing. One text is very satirical, and the other text seems to lack a humorous approach, right? One text seems very serious, while the other seems to be, more tongue in cheek. But I think that both texts have perhaps some similar goals in mind in terms of the kind of society that they promote, the type of humanity that they envision. So as you go forward into week 2, I want you to start to synthesize what those connections are in the text that we read from week 1. In week 2, we're taking a look at modernism, and really, really, really specifically, we're looking at the modern male. male, man. We're reading some works from Joyce and Eliot. And these are male writers, obviously, who are writing about, I think, very masculine approaches and understandings of the modern transitions, the modern world, the modern modes during their time period. So as you read the text today, I want you to take note that we're not reading any female authors this week, and that we're not really paying too much attention to um, the female experience. That doesn't mean though that females don't play a role in how Joyce and Eliot, for example, envision the male experience. They absolutely do. In fact, they are almost central to how they position themselves. And I think, interestingly so. But as you read these texts this week, and watch the videos too for this week, I'd like you to keep in mind how are these authors portraying the problems of masculinity, the problems of the male experience, transitioning from an enlightenment state of mind perhaps to a more modernist perspective. And what are those central differences? What's the tension that you see arising in these texts in terms of being the modern man? Um, as I said, though, the modern woman does play a role in this too. And I think, especially in Joyce's The Dead, we're going to see that a lot. So I am interested in seeing that coming together. This week, you have a forum post due in relation to the readings of Eliot and Joyce, and you also have your first short paper. I wanted to spend the rest of the video today just giving you some insights that can help to ease your anxiety if you're feeling it, which you probably are, pertaining to that first essay. First essays can be really hard to write. You're not always sure about your instructor's expectations. And so I want to be very clear about mine here. As I mentioned in my video for last week, I do have a writing overview series that I've designed to help students to grapple with the complexities of academic writing. So as you go into week 2, I think it would be really helpful if you went to my YouTube channel. And I would start at the very beginning there. I would definitely watch my video that is called "What is the Academic Genre?" This video will help you to wrap your mind around what the academic essay does, how it functions, why it does these things. This will help you so much to move beyond an essay that is summarizing text, which is not what you should do, right, in this kind of genre, and moving toward essays that make statements that are critical, that they show close reading, they show evidence of close reading and analysis, and that they move toward and that they make strong, assertive arguments that include stakes and counter argument and all of those things. So I would watch that video first, just so that you can really understand how I define the academic essay. This will help you so much, I think, in just writing a basic essay. And the second video that I would suggest that you watch is my video on the line of inquiry. I use the term the line of inquiry to describe the key moves that I feel make up the genre, the academic genre. This video, the line of inquiry, doesn't go into a lot of detail about each of those moves. You can visit connected videos for that, but it gives you a basic overview so that you can start thinking about what you want to hone in on as you write your essay this week. I also want to recommend that you come to my online office hours. We can use Adobe Connect right here in the classroom. We can also use Skype or Google Hangouts, whatever you'd like. But I do have a booking site that has all of my office hours there. You can click on a time that works for you, and you're automatically scheduled to meet with me during that time. And we can use video conferencing. We can just do voice, or we could do text chatting online, whatever works best for you and whatever you're more comfortable with. But online office hours is a really excellent chance for us to talk about your ideas, talk about your writing, talk about your approach, brainstorming. We can really tackle anything that you would like to discuss that can help you to move towards this paper. So I highly recommend that you take advantage of that this week. Um, Finally, I want to say, if you ever have any questions, if anything seems to be vague or confusing for you, please make sure that you follow up with me. Also, make sure that you are checking the comments that I leave for you on all of your assignments. I leave comments for you on your forum posts, and I will be leaving comments for you um, on your essays. And I expect that you'll be reading those comments and taking them very seriously because I try to design the comments in a way that's going to help to foster your growth as an academic writer in this class. So if you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, guys, have a wonderful week too, and I will see you here next time. Bye for now.